Here is a case of a shy young man who scares hundreds of rich and powerful men by his bold speech. And we may like to ask ourselves one question. In the today's world that we are living in, have we seen men who are young, and not only they are young, but the society has labeled them as being weak, as being shy, as being helpless, as being weak, as being imbeciles, as being fragile, as being vulnerable, as being feeble, and all terms that we may want to use, strong terms that can paint a man in a negative light. Do we have this notion in our society? Now, this is the type of a man that we have. Now, create a mental picture of such a man who is described in all these words, strong words, but very unkind ones. This is the man that we are talking about, a man who had similar characteristics. But then he came out of the other side as victorious, as a victor. He saved himself. Yes. And we ask ourselves this question once again. Is it possible for a man who has been described in all negative strong words to do something that is going to redeem him, to be a direct opposite of that description, and to be on the other side of the divide, as likable, powerful, the man in the house, the man who is destined to greatness as he continues to journey home? Is it possible? The short answer is yes. But then how? In answering how, this is where we want to start our journey officially, our journey home, the journey of two men, a father and a son, who has been separated for 2 years. And in this video, we want to pay a special attention to the son and what he does, what leads him towards delivering that speech, and the lesson we can derive from that, especially as sons today. Once again, this is the book, The Odyssey of Homer, Book 1. Now, let's revisit this man. We are saying that this man is weak. And in order for him to go to the other side and to scare men, he needed two things. He needed some confidence in him. And then he needed a means to express this confidence, a vehicle, a path a root. Because confidence alone cannot be well manifested unless it is in action. Because yes, you can feel it within you, but for it to have some life, we need to press it on its place. So this young man is called Telemachus. And why the reason we had described him using negative words is because he was all the time claiming some infancy, lack of self-esteem, lack of confidence, saying that, oh, look, I don't have a father who is physically present at the moment, a father whom is at the moment. My father went out to fight in the war 20 years ago and left me with my mother. Here are men who have intruded the house because they want to woo his mother and inherit his father. Yes, they are many. They don't even have manners. They don't have morals. They are feasting. They are dancing. Songs and music that are irritating to the heart of this young man. This young man spends all the days in grief, in mourning, looking at the gate, hoping that his father would appear and disperse the feasts, disperse the men who are wasting his property, his ox, his cows, his good, his meat, the wine. These are wasteful men. But by using only one speech, he was able to send a statement to this man that yes, time has come to reclaim what is rightly mine. This is what the son is telling this man. But then, where does he get this confidence from? And how does he use this confidence in the speech so that the men who are so many are surprised, are amazed by his boldness, despite thinking that he was weak? This is a lesson to all sons out there who needed these words. Now, listen here. Although this young man didn't have a father presently, he has a mentor. And this is why it's good to look for mentors. As young men, mentors are good because mentors have traveled the journey ahead of you. They know where there are roadblocks. They know where it hurts most. And they have come up with some tips here and there. And this young man, Telemachus, has a mentor called Mente. Although this mentor, who of course is the friend of his father, who is fighting in war, does not come in himself. It is a God who disguises herself into a man who is the unaged of the father to the son. Because age comes with some respect. It's only that some people who are old, who are privileged to have a number of years in their lives, they like watering down this. But age comes with wisdom. This is why the god disguises herself as a mentor and now talks to this young man. And throughout the talk, this young man is patient. He is listening. Remember, to this young son, he doesn't really know the identity of this man. To him, he is a stranger. But he hopes that this stranger has come with good news. So he must be patient. He must be hospitable to him. Yes. And listen to the advice. And the advice that this man gives to this young man is to pass a statement to the suitors, the wooers of his mother, that it's high time that they go back to their places, to go and waste the property that they themselves have toiled for, if at all they have. And then the conversation continues up to a point where now he departs and of course goes back to reacquire the godly body once more. And he promises this young son to give him some confidence. And this young man takes those words with the seriousness they deserve. And next we see him now in action. And this is now where the key is. That the young Telemachus gives a speech that leaves the audience, who are men, in speechless. They are awed, they are amazed by the boldness of a man they thought was weak. And I would like to take you through 6 or 7 characteristics of this speech. And I hope you might pick 1 or 2 lessons from that. The first thing that we learn from the speech of this young man is how he introduces the speech. We are accustomed to the protocols. Yes, all protocols observed. This young man breaks the protocol and devises his own starting formula. Very interesting. Depending on the version and edition of the book that you are reading. In one of the editions, this edition here, he calls them, he starts by saying, shameless, shameless and insolent suitors. Dialect what they are shameless. According to another edition that I'm also using, this one, it says, wooers of my mother, despiteful out of measure. So you can see just the opening itself without the daring here and there. That in itself was a statement enough to set these men thinking. So the choice of words matters. Remember, Mente did not give this young man the words he will use. He did not provide him with a template or a swipe file to use. No. He only gave him a scenario of what he is supposed to do. From there, it was up to him to come up with those words. And he discovered the first thing was the choice of words that you use. Then, the other thing is that he was able to acknowledge the idiosyncrasies of these men. If you proceed with the speech, this young son is saying, yes, let's continue feasting, because it's good to feast. It's also good to continue listening to music. Such a nice voice. You see, it's like pampering someone, and they feel happy, not knowing what is coming. So you are winning these people to your side. Yes, you are direct to the point, but you are also admitting, acknowledging who they are. Yes, that's a style. The third thing that happens in this speech is the call to action. He is not afraid of calling to action, calling these men to action. That yes, it's high time you leave this house, go to where you came from, and go and start wasting the property of your fathers, of your relatives, of yourselves, and leave my place in peace. There's a call to action. Yes, because that's what they are supposed to do. The fourth thing that happens in this speech is that he is, of course, making them appear like winners. This is something very important. When you speak especially to our enemies, give them a call to action, fine, but do it in such a way that even if they do it, they will not appear to be the winners or heroes. Do it methodically, as this son did. He told them to depart. That was a statement. They were free to follow that order. And if they followed that order, perhaps they would have made the son to look a hero. But then he knew also that they would choose to remain. They would choose to reject, to go against the command, and remain there wasting. So he also told them, okay, fine. If you don't go, then continue staying here. But then a day is coming when if I continue and go and pray, and when you are finished here, no one will come to save you, because I'll go away and pray. I'll go and ask things about also my father, the stories of my father, the things of him, and your time will come. So that leaves them helpless. If they decide to leave, stay, or to go, they are not winners. They are not winners. Either of the option doesn't make the men to win. But the giver, the commander, the person giving these commands is the winner, the young son. Lastly but not least, you also need to affirm your position. You need to affirm your position. And this is what happens in this speech. That after all that, they are mocking him, telling him, oh, look, you can't be our king. You cannot rule over us. Okay, fine. But he's affirming his position by saying that even if all this happens, I will be the king in my house, and I'll be the king, and I'll be in charge of all the property that my father Odysseus fought for me. That is what you need to affirm your position. So then that marks the end of that explanation of the speech. How he got the confidence and how he made use of the confidence in a speech, and lastly by affirming his position. And it is also the high time that he also affirm our position, inspired by Rob White in his book, The Maestro Monologue, where you need to discover your genius, defeat your intruder, and design your destiny. This young man must also defeat physically defeat the intruders who have come to their house. And he must also defeat the intruder who has intruded his mind, making him think as if he is weak. He must defeat the intruder. Thank you so much. This is book 1 of the Odyssey of Homer, and our journey home continues. This is Samuel Warago Senior. Do have a nice time, and remember to subscribe. Thank you.